What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the HeelCast. I am your host tonight, the one and only Larkin. I know you guys have not heard my voice in a while when it comes to the HeelCast, but tonight I am joined by Hurls. Hurls, how are you?
Larkin, do you remember the last time you hosted the HeelCast and how much drama that spurred up?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was probably, about like a year or two ago? It's been a while, man. It's been a while. I feel like stained Aaron Lewis, but my eyebrow isn't pierced.
Oh, Stain, they killed it at Welcome to Rockville just this past year. But anyways, yeah, Larkin, it's great to have you back. I'm glad you're hosting. I'm glad the last time you hosted is out of the way. So this show is going to be perfect, and I am pumped up for it.
Absolutely. And now I look at it from a stance, too, as well. Not only do we have Hurls, but we have the Impact AEW. You're just a dude. I'm a dude. He's a dude. She's a dude. We're all dudes. Hey, AEW dude, what's going on, man?
I feel like I'm in like an alternate dimension being on the HeelCast again. I mean, doesn't it feel like that? It's like I feel oddly like I've come home, and I feel oddly like I've just gone into this strange place. But it feels so damn good to finally get to do a show after all these months. Been trying to. We just haven't been able to get our schedule straight because Hurls always needs to start later than my body will let me stay up. So, but tonight we hooked up. This is awesome, Larkin. Great to have you back, buddy.
It feels good to be back. I've been paying attention for all these months with Hurls and Goldberg at the forefront, as well as you and Raven Effect doing the damn thing. So I figured it's only fitting that I come back after a long hiatus and a long absence, because a lot of stuff is going on in the world of professional wrestling, gentlemen. And let's start it off hot with some great topics here on the HeelCast. We got TK versus Big Swole. No, it is not a professional wrestling match. It is a social media war. Fightful. That goddamn Sean Ross Sapp, that goddamn Tony Khan responded to it. A lot has really been going on with that particular situation. Before I give my hot take on it, I'm going to let you start off with this, Hurls. Hurls, what do you think about this? Social media, it's Tony Khan, it's Big Swole. Big Swole had stuff to say, not just in this article, but she said some stuff on her podcast. What do you think about this whole situation that we have going down?
Well, okay, Tony, you got to chill it a little bit. I understand what Swole said may have been not exactly 100% truthful, okay? So you got to tone it down. But, Tony, you said that Big Swole was improving in an interview not that long ago. Don't contradict yourself, my friend. And B, just don't even respond. This is a no-win situation for you. So just let that thing go. Put that title on Jade Cargill, because that was the plan anyway. It's going to make Big Swole look like a big idiot after you do it. So just let that go, man. Once you responded and you had to do the dig at Big Swole, that's when you lost it. So I hate to see this. But Tony has been responding to basically everything that has been thrown at him. Even an article from Fox News about the declining, well, I don't even know what it was really about, but it was about ratings, I believe. Yes. So Tony, just let that thing slide. Let Big Swole be upset. Let her say what she's got to say. The people will digest it how they're going to digest it. Just show them what you're all about. You don't need to go on Twitter and say it.
AEW Dude, your take on the TK versus Big Swole matter, then I will give my sentiments. What do you think in AEW Dude?
And I don't know where to start or where to end. So, I mean, ultimately Big Swole said something that she probably shouldn't have said and probably isn't accurate. And what Tony Khan said was probably correct, at least from, my perspective. But what an asshole. You can be right sometimes and just be so damn wrong. Look, folks, here's the thing. And this is what you got to remember and what people react and respond to. Big Swole is a struggling, wrestler, and I believe she's married to Cedric Alexander. I got that right, correct?
Yes,
who
sir.
Wrestles for WWE, and he's probably not making a ton, but he's featured from time to time. But these are still struggling wrestlers, at least her anyway. And so, she's not going to take it well when you cut her. So she's going to say something, and you have to understand that she's struggling. That's what people do when they're struggling. And I don't want to say it's right what she said, but you have to understand it sometimes. And then Tony Khan your dad's worth $6 billion. Is that right, Larkin? He's $6 billion, right?
Well, he's a $6 billion man, yes.
A $6 billion man. $6 billion. You don't know what it's like to struggle. And you're a billionaire. And you're supposed to be bigger than Big Swole. Okay? So act it. Act your age. Show the class that you should have, being an heir to, a multi-billion-dollar empire. You want a wrestling company, you say, Dad, I want a wrestling company, and you get it. And you've done a great job with it, right? But just shut up. And that ultimately, I think, is how I feel about it. It's like, two wrongs don't make a right. As far as the backlash that came from it, on one hand, I'm not sure I believe it's warranted, because I actually do think that what he said is pretty darn accurate. But it's still deserved, because the idiot never should have run his mouth. So I kind of don't feel bad for him. And then I watched Dutch Mantel's podcast, and he's got an African American co-host who really went off about how he thinks that African Americans should be featured more on the show. And it was interesting listening to his perspective because obviously we want to see people that are like us. That's how you connect with characters, whether it's in wrestling or something completely, different genre. And so I can understand where he wants to connect with people, and seeing people like you is what you do. It doesn't make the guy a racist either, because he'd like to see more blacks featured, just like it wouldn't make me a racist because I happen to like Chris Jericho or something like that either. It's human nature. And he made some really good, interesting points about it. And finally, they asked Dutch his opinion, and Dutch is a pretty straightforward guy, and Dutch is like, you got to earn your spot, and it's all about being over. And I think that makes a lot of sense too. So I think what they need to do is that they need to help some of these folks get over to begin with. But right now, when you look at that roster and you look at least from my perspective, who I think has the ability to go over, I think Jade Cargill is going to be a massive, massive star if Tony Khan doesn't screw it up. I'm not sure they have anybody else. It's got that star power of color on their roster, if you really want my opinion. We'll get into to Jade, later, I'm sure, but I think that she should probably not have won that match, just because I don't think she's ready for it, and I don't want to see her exposed. The folks on HeelCast know I am definitely the Jade Cargill fan on the team, but part of being a fan of somebody is allowing them to grow naturally, so they have a long-term, the longevity of a career. And I'm a little bit concerned about where she is right now, and getting exposed. But if they seed her right, they're going to have a massive star on their hands. I'm completely convinced of that. So that's kind of my long-winded answer there, Larkin.
All good. Mine was very simple, and I mean, here's the thing when it comes to Tony Khan, and I'm not going to call him TK because I think that's absolutely asinine. It reminds me back in the day when they used to call Eric Bischoff Eazy-E, and I'm like, no, the man's name is Tony Khan. So one of the things that always gets me is everything in life is subjective, right? So if anybody would say anything about AEW that was bad, he would get all defensive, and he's done this before, not just with, now this is with talent, but with fans, and it's like, Tony, it's not everybody's going to like what you do. Don't have to get all defensive. Everything's subjective. It's like, calm down. He takes to Twitter a lot with this, and this is what really annoys me, because you don't see Vince McMahon and stuff doing this. The man needs a PR team, for God's sake. So when Tony Khan acted like the spoiled kid, it's like, Tony, all right, if you feel this way, you could have just spoke to her privately, or you know what, maybe I don't agree with this, but this is something that we're going to talk about. But he could have handled it something differently. It could have been in private, didn't have to be in social media, but it was. And I think for what Ariel Monroe, who is Big Swole, and like for me, well, first and foremost, I'm sure with what he spoke with Hal about her wrestling ability, not needed, but still, I think a lot of people echoed those sentiments. I mean, for God's sake, I hated the Britt Baker feud and the tooth and nail match, which I try to wipe from my memory. But I mean, I first saw Ariel Monroe in the Mae Young Classic, right? And then here she is over here in AEW. Her husband, Cedric Alexander, was featured in a prominent position with the Hurt Business. Now he's just kind of like floating around in the picture. With what's going on there, I think Big Swole could have what she said, she had a lot of valid points, but at the same time, it's like it's all matters that really could have been discussed in private and not just boom. But at the same time, I mean, if someone's going to make a comment at you, Tony, just learn it to go one ear and out the other, and it could have been handled perfectly. And that is be my long-winded answer. Tony, shut the fuck up, stay off of social media, and lay off the White Claws.
And quit acting like a spoiled son of a billionaire.
Yeah, exactly. Quit acting like a spoiled son of a billionaire, because that's what it is. It's what it is. It's spoiled brat syndrome. I just made up something there. It's the SBS, the spoiled brat syndrome. But no, and I also look at it from a stance too as well. A lot of people really chimed in, some to defend Tony, like Jade Cargill and Nyla Rose and all these people from Tayanara Conti as well, who commented in there. But one of the people that really was against Tony Khan doing this was the one and only LR himself, Leo Rush. Apologize. You must apologize right here, right now, Jesus Jones style. All caps, apologize. That is the other part of this that really made the airwaves, that really made the headlines of this story. So I'm going to start with you, Hurls, once more. Leo Rush telling that man to apologize. Your thoughts?
Leo Rush is the one guy that probably should keep his mouth shut as well. He doesn't have the greatest reputation in professional wrestling right now. So, honestly, the guy has something to prove. He's kind of... I don't want to say he's a head case, but you know, like when guys like Chad Johnson and Terrell Owens, they kind of get those prove it to me contracts. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I'm looking at Leo Rush right now. So it's just like, dude, I understand you didn't agree with Tony Khan, but you work with Tony Khan pretty closely, I'm pretty sure. So just be quiet, let the situation play out. And I know you don't have to agree with Tony, but man, probably not the best look to go right at your boss, especially when you've made some crazy statements in the past. So I'm saying just go out there and wrestle, my friend.
Well, this is also the same guy, and not to cut you off there, Hurls, but this is also the same guy during his WWE tenure who made fun of Tennille Dashwood Emma when she got released, and it's like, motherfucker, how would you feel if you got released and later what happened there? But still, it's one of those guys that's always so cocky, very brazen at the forefront. I'm not going to take anything away from his athletic ability, but god dang it, man, like you and many others, like TK, Tony Khan, shut the fuck up. Shut the hell up. Get the fuck out, as the old WWE t-shirt said in 2002. But god damn it, annoying as piss. AEW dude, what do you think?
You know, I've been to some of the old WCW events, as I'm sure you guys can figure out. And
sure.
I got to watch Rey Mysterio in his prime, and I got to watch Jericho and that entire group of cruiserweights. And so it's probably not safe to say that he's the best, most athletic guy I've ever seen in the ring. But I saw him a couple of times at Maryland Championship Wrestling before he went to WWE.
Yeah.
Guy is crazy gifted athletic. Just crazy gifted. And to the point where, you know, AEWCW Dude doesn't like wrestling, and she was just like, oh my God, this is insane what this kid can do. Blew her mind. Which is not something which is easy to do. But he's also got some clear issues up top in his head, right? And I don't want to say mental issues, because then people will get the wrong idea of what I mean. But he's not right. He doesn't know how to control himself. And it kind of goes back, you know, to what Hurls said earlier, you know, about Big Swole. There's a way to do this, you know, offline, behind the scenes. Or complain. You don't need to do everything in public. And Leo Rush could have called Tony Khan and said, hey, I think you need to apologize because you've just hurt a bunch of people's feelings. And then Tony Khan could have dealt with it instead of just a tweet that is apologize and acting, again, like a brat. So now you've got a billionaire brat, and now you've got a guy who grew up with nothing brat. It's just come on, guys. Just grow up. So I love Leo Rush as a performer. But he's one of those guys where he's just not going to be around long because he can't keep it straight. It's a shame.
Man, oh man. So from that we get not just the battle of TK versus Big Swole. It's a battle of releases with these bunch of NXT releases. My goodness gracious. And I'll save myself at the end because it'll be long-winded again. But my goodness gracious, we go from William Regal, Road Dogg, Ranjan Singh, Ryan Katz. We're talking about people like Timothy Thatcher, Danny Burch, Kathy Carino, a.k.a. Allison Danger, the sister of Steve Carino, wrestled in Ring of Honor and Shimmer, many various women's promotions. We're talking about talents. We're talking about the old crop of regime that is the original NXT, some now calling it the 1.0, the black and yellow brand, the black and gold. For me, I look at it from a stance, too. It's like, goodness gracious, we are really moving towards an era with NXT 2.0 that's very reminiscent of what we saw back in the day with OVW, where we saw guys like Cena, Orton, Batista, Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin all come on the come-up. So they're really focusing now on the homegrown talent, and it's not like your Adam Coles and your Keith Lees, where it's like, hey, here's a huge star from the indies, here's how we're going to crop this with NXT. They are focusing on like it was in OVW from the mid-2000s. They're focusing on it like was in FCW, the early stages before NXT really came into fruition. We are saying that we are developmental. We're not going to consider it the quote-unquote third brand. We are going to go back to basics and now focus on the future. Like the S Club 7 song once sang, it's hope for the future. There's a little UK pop reference. So Hurls, once more, what do you think about the changes, the changes, David Bowie style, that we have going into NXT now? All these releases that I just mentioned, including William Regal. What do you think about everything?
Wow. That's a very, very, very complicated answer, but I'm going to do my best to give it to you anyway. I think it was time. I think there's only so many indie guys that you can really just keep bringing in and trying to hoard these talent. Are they really moving the needle? And I think that's what it came down to. They asked themselves, does a guy like Austin Aries, a guy like Rich Swann, a guy like Kyle O'Reilly, or it doesn't even have to be. It could be anyone. These are just names on. When they were on their indie, hiring spree, they were hiring all these different ones. So,
Earl's challenge is inner DMX. Rest in peace. Where's dogs at? They're right there barking in the background. So just to go back what he was saying, it's very well apparent that they're going back to the stages of when WWE used to have a lot of developmental territories, right? They had HWA ran by Les Thatcher. They had UPW Rick Bassman. You saw The Miz on the come up there. He was very homegrown, but also came from reality television and the Toughen Up, right? That is what we're focusing on here, AEW Dude. We are here in the early stages of the 2000s where we had homegrown talents, where we had talents that we signed, we had developmental, we had camps. What we have now is WWE wants to establish their own talents, their own, we mentioned with the Performance Center, how that's been a benefit. But yeah, this is where we are. We are doing something that a lot of people are not a fan of, but sometimes what's old is new again, but also at the same time, it's like, you know what, we've been here before. Let's recreate what we had before, and let's try to do a little bit of what we had 20 years ago now in the year 2022. What are your thoughts on this, AEW Dude? We're going back to the past, and we're going back to homegrown.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like Vince and company got a little greedy there, don't you? I mean, you have a situation, Larkin, where you've got developmental, right?
Well, yeah,
and you've got brands.
So what they're saying is, that's what they're doing now. So a lot of people consider like NXT 1.0, as now some people are joking, right? Like it's the third brand. It's on USA now. It's on Tuesdays. But how they're establishing it now is it's like, okay, this is the brand, but we're going to also feature these new stars. It's 2.0. It's the wave of the future, not talking about Frankie Kazarian's finisher. But yeah, it's what they're doing. But this is how they're kind of like classifying it as.
But you can't have both ways. You can either have developmental, where you develop this talent, or you can have a third brand. Or you can have third brand and developmental, but you can't use the developmental talent as the third brand. And what they've done is they've established and brought in all this talent, okay? Which really wasn't. I mean, I don't want to use the word talent. If you could see me right now, I'm doing a little quote thing, because they're not talent. Apparently, Hurls is doing something with his dog's asshole right now. He just put it in the chat window, folks. We may not hear from Hurls for the next 15 or 20 seconds. But basically they've got all these wrestlers, and they've just established just a ton of people, and now they're looking at it and they're going, I can't make money off of these people. And they're kind of getting away from what you're saying, Larkin, They're going from saying we have developmental and going to bring them this whole training thing in-house and do it the WWE way. So we're going to take the best ones that we've got. We're going to make a third brand, and we're going to cut everybody else. And they can go learn on the indies again. That's kind of the way this sounds to me. They're calling it cost-cutting, and it is cost-cutting, but these guys aren't that expensive. I mean, they're not spending... what are they making an average of $40,000 to $60,000 a year? So if you had 50 of them at $60,000 a year, what's that? $3 million, right? Yeah. I got my numbers right there. It'd be $3 million. $3 million isn't even what Kevin Owens is making. Okay, now they don't provide the value that Kevin Owens makes, but the point is that it's an investment in the next Kevin Owens, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like they're going backwards. I feel like they're going to bring and send the talent back on, and they haven't released anybody except for Bray, okay, and maybe Braun, right? Because I don't think that Braun left on his own. That really has the potential to move a needle, and even then you could be like, well, are they going to move the needle? Yeah.
It's interesting. Well, it's interesting because they're bringing stars like Riddle down to NXT, and they're bringing AJ Styles to feud with a young man by the name of Grayson Waller, who does have talent, and you know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. And now Rick Steiner's kid, Braun Breaker, is the new NXT champion down there, defeating Tommaso Ciampa this week. So it's going to be interesting to see how the upper echelon, while also including veterans in there, like Ciampa and many others, to see how that all encompasses with the brand. And now this is where I got to say this to you, Mr. Hurls, because while your dogs were barking and paying a tribute to DMX in the background, we never got your whole thing. What do you think about what they're doing with the third brand? And this will also come back to around you, AEW Dude. Do you consider it to be a shot to Triple H?
I do. I think it's a big shot to Triple H. I think Vince McMahon is very petty, and the fact that they lost to AEW pretty much every week, I think that was a shot to the ego. And I think Vince McMahon looked at, okay, this is how Triple H is going to run my company. I'm going to make a U-turn on this. So that's where Nick Khan comes in, and Nick Khan, I want you to run the NXT brand, and I want you to fire everybody that Triple H is associated with. Do you understand? That is your goal, or else you're fired.
Can you do that again? Replay that again. That was great.
That was not bad. You kind of made like the "yeah, pal" type of deal. That's what I was waiting for. Yeah, pal. Fire those people, pal.
Well, I'm not going to repeat what he said to John Cena. What's up? Yeah, we'll just leave it there. Anyways, no, I like how they're kind of going more gimmick heavy. I like how the fact that they're kind of swaying from just like these guys on the indies that are getting a ton of hype, or Ring of Honor, Impact, whatever. It could be anything, but they're bringing up their own guys and they want to train them the way they want to do it. But the problem is, though, they tried this once before. Mm-hmm. It worked for OVW when you had Brock, Shelton, Charlie Haas, Batista, Orton, Cena. Okay, but then after that, you had a lot of duds. You had the Spirit Squad, right? I mean, who's the best one?
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Wait a minute. So around the 2005-06 time period, we did get the Spirit Squad. We got Kenny, Johnny, Nikki, Mitch, Mikey. But the only one who's really still there right now is Dolph Ziggler. We had Bobby Lashley come from there as well. We had Gunnar Scott.
That's a success, yes.
All right,
but I'm going to stop you right there. It took him going to Impact to learn how to work.
True. Very true.
Work. Yep.
Very true. They also had Gunnar Scott, who was Brent Albright, who was in Ring of Honor and OVW. You had Shad.
Talent.
Yes, you had Shad and JTG, Crime Time. You had Beth Phoenix. You had a lot of people that came from there. You had Katarina, who was Katie Lee Burchill. There was a lot of people still around that time, and we meant, of course, CM Punk. But yeah, it was a wide array, man. We had a lot of people in the 2005-06. You had Morrison, Johnny Nitro. You had Molina. You had Mercury up in there. I mean, there were still some that were good, but yeah, the Spirit Squad came from that. And how bad would it have been? Off topic here, sidebar. How bad would it have been if Elijah Burke actually would have said yes and he was in that Spirit Squad? My guy, because he was originally supposed to be in it.
Oh, wow. I don't know if that would have worked at all, actually.
Well, thank God he said no. And then he got Sylvester Turkai, a.k.a. Predator from friggin' Japan. Oof. Anyway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of them worked out, but you have to understand it took them a while for some of those names that you mentioned to get over. And I think one of the biggest things for Johnny Nitro John Morrison's career was him being so associated with parkour.
Yep.
You know, I think that really translated well to his in-ring abilities. But I mean, for every one of those guys that you mentioned, you had, Jesse, you had the Heartthrobs. Who was Gemini?
Oh,
you had a lot.
There's
a lot of talent.
Twins. Hurls, I hate you. The fucking Shane twins.
The Shane twins, yes.
I hate you for bringing that up. So for those that don't remember, the Shane twins were the Gemini. They were like Simon Dean's bodyguards on SmackDown. And the other team you mentioned, the Heartthrobs, a.k.a. the Heartbreakers, the only time we saw them in TNA was with Christy Hemme against VKM. I hate you for bringing back those memories. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just making my point. So, you had some wins. And you had some losses, okay? I'm just saying a lot of these guys on the indies, they've wrestled a ton of matches. So if you do need to carry out a good 10, 15-minute match, getting rid of all of them might not be the best idea. That's all I'm saying. You need some guys to put your stars over. So I'm just saying buyer beware. I do like how they are going more gimmick-focused. I think we do need more gimmicks. I think we need a guy like Joe Gacy, correct?
Joe Gacy doing the whole cancel culture gimmick, yep.
Yes, I do like that. I do like some of their new characters. I like, is it Parker Bordeaux as well?
Yes, who's now Harland, yep.
Harland, yes, correct. Okay, and Braun Breaker winning the title. I am absolutely for. That guy is a beast. I could see him being a WWE champion in the next 5 years. So that's really all I got to say about that. Releasing guys like William Regal and Road Dogg, though, those guys got a lot of knowledge. And they were around in the Attitude Era and before that, even. So I don't know if that's the best move. So,
AEW, dude?
I totally get it, though. I'm just going to end it with this. I totally understand Nick Khan. It's his ship now. He wants to run it how he wants to run it. He doesn't want any Triple H leftovers, and Vince McMahon is upset that AEW beat them. So, of course, they want to change directions, and that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you, Forrest Gump Hurls. I will also say that nobody wants anyone's sloppy seconds, if you know what I'm saying. Nobody wants the sloppy seconds, Nobody does. So, AEW, dude, what do you think about it? Shot at Triple H, what are you thinking?
I mean, if you're going to talk about sloppy seconds, I can think of Hurls saying that he would take them earlier today in the chat. I'm just saying. We've had this conversation. Larkin, when I think about Vince McMahon, he's a lot like Nails. And he's a sharp, tough hombre. And he's a business person first. And he looks at NXT as though it lost and therefore it needs to change because he's got a third brand now and he wants to protect the third brand. And so he looks at it and he says, well, this next generation, next coming of wrestling thing clearly isn't working because AEW, right? But they haven't tried to mimic AEW with NXT either, which is sort of interesting in that aspect. And they can as long as they're in the studio that holds just a few hundred people, right? It's not going to be that way. So what do you do when something's not working in business? You change it. And so it can't be Triple H because Triple H was, I'm NXT. And we don't know how he is behind the scenes and how receptive he is to, to input from other people. He might be like, no, this is my ship and it's sailing in this direction. And so, you have to make changes. And of course, Nick Khan's going to want to bring his own people in. He's going to want to run it the way he's going to want to run it. And look at it now. It looks like all the rest of their programs, only on a soundstage, right? I mean, like in front of literally a few hundred, what's it hold, 350 people, if that? It can't be that many.
Yeah, about that in Orlando, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that many people. So, but now they're making the whole thing look like their other products because they're looking, well, our other products, they do better. And I don't know that this is going to be a winner either, but that's what you do in businesses. You pivot. And unfortunately, you can't keep the same person in charge as they make the same decisions unless they were listening to input the whole time, in which case they wouldn't be viewed as a failure, right? So it just is what happens. It happens in business, you know. I don't think it's a personal thing, though. And you know, you said about, is that a shot at Triple H? No, it's they're trying to fix the business. The business has to be bigger than Triple H, and so that's what they're doing. Yeah, it is what it is.
Beautifully said, gentlemen. And our next topic for tonight also goes back to TK, Tony Khan, AAA, Dreamboat signing. Now, a lot of people have been speculating, man, what's the signing going to be? Well, a lot of people are rumoring Bray Wyatt. A lot of people are saying, hey, Johnny Gargano just got off of NXT. Maybe it's Johnny Gargano. Maybe it's Jeff Hardy with everything that's going on with Jeff. A lot of people are really speculating, the rumor mill's going around, who they think that the top Dreamboat signing is. It's going to be coming to AEW really soon. For me, I'm going to say personally, possibly I'm going to lean either between Bray Wyatt or Johnny Gargano, because Johnny Gargano, I believe they have a show coming up in Cleveland, and he would be great to debut on that show. Really has the esque of PWG. He can have that feud with Adam Cole now in AEW and really go aligned with a lot of people like Chuck Taylor, who he's wrestled a lot with, the Best Friends. It'll be very interesting to see who that Dreamboat signing is per se. So I will start with AEW Dude this time. AEW Dude, who are you thinking that the Dreamboat signing will be for AEW?
Oh, it's obvious. It's Road Dogg Jesse James, and he gets to bring back the New Age Outlaws.
I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight. That's all I got to say. Bring me some Roddy. Take it back to 95.
He gets in the ring, you know, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, right? He does his thing. They go, they toss Jungle Boy to the side and Luchasaurus to the side. The New Age Outlaws are the tag team champions for about a month, and then Darby and Sting come in and beat them, because after all, they would have to feud with Darby and Sting because, you know, the Gun Club's already feuding with Darby and Sting, and they would be falling victim to coffin drops and stinger splashes. And Sting would actually get a championship belt. Oh, wait a minute. What I think I can actually hear Goldberg. By the way, happy birthday, Goldberg. Just came when I said Sting got a belt. In all fairness, if it's anybody less than Bray, then he's overstated it, because I know people know Johnny Gargano and they like him, but Johnny Gargano is not a dream signing. He's not a dream signing. He's a young athletic guy, right? Nor is a 40-plus-year-old Jeff Hardy with drug and alcohol issues, right? And we're all hoping that yes, Jeff is sober and that wasn't real. But I mean, he's got his demons, and we know this. We love him to death, but he's got his demons. So who's that going to give you? Braun? You're going to look at Braun. You're going to go,
well, you just
cool, but what?
Braun, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, EW. Braun was just in Ring of Honor. Him and EC3 doing that thing. But who knows what they're going to do.
That doesn't mean he's going to be in Ring of Honor for, I mean, you know, whatever. But you're just going to look at Braun, you're going to go, it would be better if it was Bray. I mean, so unless he's pulling something crazy and he's got The Rock coming in, you know, I mean, to me, Ric Flair is a dream signing, but I don't know what he brings to AEW. Hulk Hogan would be a dream signing, but we know he's not coming because, you know, and what's he gonna do? Those two guys are, I mean, I love them to death because their history, but they're washed up, they're done. They're like 70, right? So what are your dream signings? It's Bray or it's, why are we saying this?
Well, the problem is, too, as well, is just like you were mentioning Flair there, and I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I think he would go there, because I think Sting's there, and I think he would want to have another match with Sting. Like, we didn't need to see that also back in 2011 or whatever it was in TNA at the time. It's like, we don't need to see a 70-year-old Ric Flair wrestling a 62-year-old Sting now. It's like, no. So, you know?
I mean, I would allow that match to happen just because. Well, now, Flair might die in the ring, but that would almost work. Just because he's Ric freaking Flair, he's supposed to die in the ring, right? I mean, but he's not a dream signing. There are no dream signings except maybe a Bray Wyatt is the only guy out there that may be a dream signing. But it could also just be Tony Khan acting like an idiot on social media again. Lord knows he's never done that before.
It's very reminiscent when Dixie Carter would have like an announcement each and every week, and it would just be like meh, where there would be like no announcement. You know what I'm saying? It's very Dixie Carter-esque. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, Hurls, what do you think about this Dreamboat signing, this dream signing that Tony Khan's looking to stir up, as you did with that GIF and that picture of Red Velvet there, sir? What do you think about this dream signing? Who do you think it's going to be, Mr. Hurls?
Well, okay. The way Tony Khan made it sound was this person was somebody that he admired growing up. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to say. So I think it's going to be it's going to tend to the older side. I honestly think it's between three people. I think it's going to be between the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Woo! It could be Mr. Jeff Hardy. Because obviously he got out of his contract for one reason or another. We all know that's the reason why. I honestly don't think it was because he was drunk. I really don't this time. I think he just wanted out of his contract, which, by the way, I have a big issue with. But anyways, the third person I think it could possibly be is Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's been talking a lot about possibly returning to the ring. I could see that happening. So in my honest opinion, I think it's going to be either Ric Flair, Jeff Hardy, or Kurt Angle. I really don't think it's going to be either Bray or Braun. Braun, you got to bring in EC3 with that stuff. And clearly EC3 has not joined the company. Or maybe they didn't want him. I don't know. But it seems like Braun's kind of doing the whole control your narrative stuff along with Killer Kross.
Yep. Or is he doing it because he has nothing else to do?
I think he could do something. But he's commanding a high price is from what the early reports of when he got released from WWE. I don't know what his price would be now, but secondly, I think Bray right now is more focused on Hollywood or trying to get into Hollywood. I'm not sure about Bray. If AEW lands Bray, that's a great signing. That's probably one of their best signings since Malachi Black. But I don't know. I don't think Tony Khan says dream signing unless it's somebody that he grew up watching or grew up admiring. So I think it's one of those three. I think it's Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, or Ric Flair. I'm not sure who else it honestly could be. So those are my three predictions.
So, when you talk about that, why couldn't Bray do a little bit of Hollywood, come back, do a little bit of Hollywood, come back? I mean, look at Jericho. Jericho's doing it, right? And I don't see why Braun can't come without EC3. You know that Braun is the godfather of one of Bray's kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he could, but I'm just more in the terms of Tony dream signing. It just to me feels like somebody he grew up watching. That's kind of what I got out of the interview. I could be totally off base. It could be Bray. Maybe it is Bray, because I know a lot of the wrestling reporters were asking about Bray to him quite often, and he kept saying that he only met him once on Jericho's birthday or something. So it definitely could be Bray, but I got to go with my gut and say it's either going to be Jeff Hardy or Kurt Angle, and I'm leaning towards Kurt Angle for some reason.
I mean, that would be cool. I would love to see Kurt Angle show up because I love Kurt Angle.
We can get the dream match that we've never seen before, and someone that Kurt Angle wanted to wrestle. Kurt Angle and Bryan Danielson. There you go. I was
going to say that would be great. And if he's going to wrestle, I mean, why not put him in there with Omega too?
That's true.
I just don't know how much Kurt's got left in the tank. That's the big thing.
And also, I like the fact there, AEW, that you want to talk about how Braun can't come without EC3. I understand your words there, man. That's how it is. You're just going to do Braun like that he can't come by himself? Is that what you're saying?
I said he could come by himself. Hurls was saying he couldn't.
I'm just saying, man. Could or couldn't, man. We're talking about people coming. Let them come.
I mean, if they want to come together, they that's up to them, you know. Yeah. But I'm thinking he can do it without EC3. I'm thinking he can come on his own.
Hey, either way, they're going to.
Hurls, do you think he can come on his own?
Hurls is busy with his dog because I come on my own every night, so. I just want to put that out there.
Sometimes we got to channel in our Bonnie rates and give them something to talk about, and that would give them something to talk about if they were both coming on their own or together. Either way, somebody's coming, and it's not one of us right now. And Hurls did probably before this show.
Raven Effect would gladly help EC3 along. I'm convinced of that.
Okay. Next up, guys. Royal Rumble is Royal Rumble is around the corner, and we're going around the corner, all right. So the Royal Rumble's coming around the corner, and the big matchup that is announced, finally, we've been wanting it for years. A lot of people have been clamoring for it. Brock Lesnar, the new WWE champion, against Bobby Lashley at the Royal Rumble. That is the talk, everybody. We finally get to see Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Their paths have never crossed. They have never, they both have had MMA careers. Bobby with Bellator, Brock in UFC. We haven't seen it. Everybody's been wanting to see it, but now we are going to get it at the Royal Rumble. So that is the big thing coming from it. So now I have to ask Hurls, what do you think about two big meaty men slapping each other's meats, as Big E would say? Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, WWE title. What do you think about it, man?
Honestly, this is probably one of the most anticipated matchups for me to see in WWE right now, because Bobby Lashley, the whole reason he left Impact Wrestling was to go have a match with Brock Lesnar. And if you want the proof, it's on Impact Plus. Just go watch his, I believe it was called Biography, Bobby Lashley Biography. It's on Impact Plus. But please, go watch it if you have Impact Plus. But anyways, he talks about having the dream match with Brock Lesnar. He's always wanted to have it. Thank God it's finally happening. And thank God Big E lost the title, because Big E was just not world championship material in my eyes. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. I know Lesnar's probably going to win. I'm not exactly happy about that, but I'm going to be really pulling for Bobby Lashley here. I'm really looking forward to this match. And it's strange because the Royal Rumble's actually on a Saturday this year.
Yep.
Which I don't know how I feel about that, but this match is definitely my most hyped match for that event, probably taking place even over the two Rumbles itself. So I am definitely looking forward to Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, though.
For me, I got to say, I love me some babyface Brock with his overalls and the flip phones and all that. He's been hilarious, just letting Brock Lesnar be himself. I think it's one of those things where it's like, hey, Brock's going out there, he's having fun, and that sometimes is the best Brock, because he's been working his butt off, man, since he's coming back. Now I got to say this to you, Mr. AEW Dude. Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, it's a dream match in many of people's eyes. People have been clamoring for it, like I mentioned before. What do you think? WWE title on the line, Brock and Bobby.
I think they fucked it up. I mean, doesn't this have WrestleMania headline written all over it?
Well, I'll be honest. I think the direction that they're going, because Roman tested positive for COVID, they were talking about doing Brock and Roman in like a title unification type of deal.
Yeah, seen it a million times. Look, the only way to properly do that, if you want to do that, you throw Lashley in the mix. First of all, you guys know I'm a Lashley guy through and through.
Yep.
When he first was in it, I guess it was TNA at the time, the first time.
Yep, 2009.
I really only enjoyed his wife. I'm not going to lie. I thought she was a good talker. When he came back, I was like, great, they brought Lashley back, right? Bobby Lashley's back, woohoo. And then, it was supposed to be MVP getting title shot. He got injured. Lashley winds up winning the title from my boy EY and just killed it. He was awesome. I mean, he really just kills. Like, oh my God, this is not the guy from 2009 who quit on Eric Bischoff, right? Didn't his wife walk up and say, "I'm quit, we're out of here"?
Yeah, she quit for him. She quit for him there, AEW.
Yeah. And this is not the same guy. This guy's good. I mean, really freaking good. And then he killed it the entire rest of his run. And then when it came time to leave, and this is why you hear me talk about how much I don't like EC3, and they left at about the same time, so it's really the same circumstances. He worked his way out. Okay? Hurls, I'm not sure they were actually ever married. I think it was just his girlfriend at the time. So he worked his way out, right? He did the jobs to Cage. And I mean, he put Cage over. Everything he did and Cage did, they just went back and forth to say who's the better big man, and then Lashley laid down at the end. And he gave 150% in every single match, every single time, all the way out, while EC3 did shit and dialed it in. I will forever have a tremendous amount of respect for that man. God, please don't ruin it by doing something stupid now, Ashley. And I want nothing more than to see him go over on Lesnar. Okay? And I think it's the right thing to do. Of course I think it's the right thing to do. I'm jaded here, right? But I think it's the right thing to do because he is the quote-unquote, not that he's young, but the younger talent who's around all the time. And that match, that win over Lesnar would mean so much to Bobby Lashley. And, Lesnar can come back and get it later, like a Hogan and Warrior type of a thing. But I think it would really make Bobby Lashley. And then you can have, Lashley go to unify the title with Roman. Right? Or go on to do some of these bigger matches. And I think this is an opportunity to really build a massive star by letting him go over. Unfortunately, doesn't the winner of the Royal Rumble get the title shot at Mania?
Yes, sir. Title match of their choice. World or WWE or Universal.
So I don't think they're going to get the opportunity to. Maybe they get the opportunity to wrestle again if they go for the opposite title. I don't know which one they're wrestling for. I guess it's the world title.
Well, the SmackDown, the one that Brock and Bobby are fighting for, that's the Raw one. That's the world. That's the WWE title.
That's the WWE. So yeah, so maybe they can go for the Universal title or something instead. But I guess in a perfect world, they would just wrestle for the first time at WrestleMania. In this situation, maybe you get some sort of false finish or something like that, and you really build heat to WrestleMania. But those two need the headline of WrestleMania in my mind, and Lashley needs to go over. And I would have told you the same damn thing 5 years ago, and I'm not kidding. Lashley's done everything that company has asked him, including dressing up like a freaking woman and acting like a complete idiot.
Oh,
and he's done it with class. Give him the rub. So anyway, I'm very excited that this match is going to happen. I'm not happy that it's going to happen at a Royal Rumble. It deserves better. It deserves bigger, and Lashley deserves to go over. So so maybe he doesn't go over, and maybe he gets his comeuppance at Mania or something like that. But he needs to go over.
Well, speaking of over, and this kind of went over both of mine and your head, AEW Dude, because Hurls, I want to get your thoughts on this because you were the one who brought it up. Ladies and gentlemen, the commercial, the overall teaser came out on the Impact and Access and everything that was going on there on the network. New Japan Pro Wrestling is coming back to Access TV. Hurls, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's a testament to two things.
Yes, go ahead.
Anthem gets what they want.
Okay.
New Japan couldn't find another TV provider, right? I mean, isn't that what they were trying to do? I think, honestly, what happened, though, was when Anthem took over, New Japan did not want to do anything with Impact. So Anthem was like, okay, we're just going to let your contract expire. That's how I think it went down. I don't have proof of that, but I think that's kind of how it went down. Lo and behold, 4 years later, New Japan and Impact kind of have an open partnership now. It totally makes sense. New Japan probably couldn't find a new provider. Let's just get back to Access. Honestly, we were pretty good on Access. That's where a lot of people watched us. So that's where I watched New Japan. That's where I got to see a lot of stuff. So I'm happy. I mean, I get to see New Japan again. Here's the thing about New Japan. You know what you're getting with New Japan. You know you're going to get a freaking 45-minute match, two guys just giving it their all. You're going to see.
That was not.
That's great.
That was not sarcastic or just underlying. 45 minutes, giving it their all. No regrets, risk it all. That wasn't sarcastic at all there.
Thank you, Larkin. Thank you. But no, for real, I'm happy that they're going to be back on TV because they do have a lot of great pro wrestlers, and I got to see AJ Styles run in New Japan because of the Access TV deal from the original start. So, I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of at least their American roster, at least the guys that they have from the U.S. So I kind of know a little bit about it, but I still think it's just for the hardcore wrestling fans. It's not for the casual viewer. So I am looking forward to it. I think it's a solid move. I think it's only going to attract more viewers in this niche. Not going to attract casual viewers for sure. So that's fine.
Isn't WoW still on there now, too? I know WoW, we have AJ Lee coming in. Is WoW still on Access TV, or are they not? Or is it just New Japan now?
They are not. It's just New Japan.
Okay, fair enough then. But I also got to say, because I haven't talked about it in a while, I do like the fact that AJ Lee's doing some stuff with WoW now, because it's going to be, speaking of WoW, oh my God, what the fuck's wrong with you? I mean, speaking of WoW, women wrestling, it's one of those things. It's great to see someone like AJ Lee being involved. Obviously, a lot of people want in the ring, but, it's best to see her helping out the next generation of talent. That I just want to add as a sidebar. So, AEW Dude, what do you think about New Japan come back to Access TV? And I believe, Hurls, is it Thursday? It's after Impact, right? Like at 10 p.m.? Is that right?
Yeah, it's going to be directly after Impact. Correct. Okay. It's going to be, I believe, an hour. I don't see it going 2 hours. So
right, fair enough. So AEW, New Japan, Access TV, hit me.
I think it's a good thing for Access TV. I think it's a good thing for Impact Wrestling. I think it's a good thing for wrestling in general to have more, wrestling on television. I think it sets them up for a pretty decent night on Thursday night. So what is it? Is it going to, I guess, come after Impact?
It's going to be like 10 to 11 like they used to do when they had like those hour shows and like of old classic stuff from New Japan, yeah.
So what's going in the 7 to 8 hour?
I have no idea.
Okay, because I know that it used to be like before the Impact, and they canned that show, right?
Yeah, it was that, and then like when I think WoW used to be on like Saturdays or something, if I remember, and then like right before Impact was like a New Japan thing, if I remember correctly. It could be.
No.
All right, okay, Hurls, tell me.
Yeah. So there was like, as soon as Anthem took over Access, there was maybe like a week or two delay where New Japan got to air. It was not on the same night as Impact. I can promise you that. I think they had the Impact in 60, like right away.
Okay.
I have not seen anything about before the Impact going away yet. I would imagine either Impact in 60 or BTI is going to go away. I still think BTI is safe, and I think the show that's going to go away is Impact in 60. So that's just my thoughts. I haven't seen any report swaying one way or the other. So I could be totally wrong about that, but I guess
so
that
ultimately
remains
we're
to be
talking
seen.
about it's a good night for wrestling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how you have to look at this. At the same point in time, who does New Japan really have that people really need to see? Right? Like, we were all, not we, because I really was never invested in New Japan, but the folks that were invested in New Japan were invested in the American stars in New Japan, and they're all in All Elite Wrestling now. Right?
Yeah. Well, that's the issue, too, because they lost a lot of guys there in AEW. Like, the Bullet Club is not the same Bullet Club. It's just Jay White over there and, like, other stuff, that's, like, really hardly anybody.
So it just doesn't have the meaning that it once did. Now, that having been said, when they left Access the first time, it didn't have a whole lot of meaning then either, because it had kind of run its course by then. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a huge, like, game-changing thing. But look, if it allows talent to be easily exchanged between Impact and New Japan, then that allows for fresh matchups and allows promoters to make more money and allows wrestlers to make more money. And we should all applaud that, right? I just don't know that all of a sudden it's going to go, crazy. Yeah, I like Rainmaker. I do like Rainmaker, Hurls. I'm seeing your message in the chat. I think he's pretty cool. But I mean, you got like one or two guys that could come over and, okay, then now they're done.
Well, I think like the big thing that they're doing is, and I did see some highlights from New Japan. They're doing a New Japan like Noah like crossover now, where it's like Noah's like trying to help New Japan get the house. So it's like it's like a battle between New Japan versus like the rival promotions. That's what they're doing over there. And I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've seen Wrestle Kingdom. So again, because a lot of the names are now in AEW, but like Wrestle Kingdom Wrestle Kingdom. Stop sending those images. Wrestle Kingdom has lost its kind of feel, its flow ever since we had like Jericho and Omega and all that stuff. But yes, Rainmaker is huge. All right, guys, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say there's a few talents, but I totally get it. Like, their American wrestlers right now are mainly, I mean, Jay White is probably the biggest one, but you got also Will Ospreay. He's obviously one of the most talented workers in the. I like that guy when I got to see him on Explosion a few times. I think he was actually on Impact too when they went to the UK. He did a couple matches there, and that was when he was like pretty much just starting out. But
Yeah.
the guy is blown up since then. Larkin, give me what's Rainmaker's name? I hate just calling him Rainmaker.
Oh,
but
Kazuchika Okada.
Okada. Thank you. Okada's probably one of the biggest names that they still have. Besides the great Muta, who just apparently showed up at Wrestle Kingdom.
Well, that's what I just said. I just
Yeah.
said it. It's the Noah New Japan rivalry. Get Great Mood up in the mix.
Yeah, there's like, 50 guys that stormed the ring or something like that?
Dude, it's all of them. The only people that were there were Los Ingobernables de Japón. We had Naito and a couple of those guys.
Naito, he's another guy that. Yep, Naito, and then you had I think he was part of the No Limit Tag team when
Yes,
they were
he was.
back in
Impact. Yep. Get it?
And then you got who was that? Sonata, right? Sonata was in.
Sonata, who was a former X Division champ. Yep.
Yep. So they still have some big Japanese names. They just don't have the American names as what they had before. So
I mean, we saw Ishii on friggin' AEW and Minoru Suzuki, and I'm always a Minoru Suzuki fan. I think he's a legend. But yeah, when you have guys like Tomohiro Ishii, that's cool. But it's like, again, the casual fan, who knows who Tomohiro Ishii is?
Correct. You're exactly right. And like I said, this is a niche. This is going to attract more of the niche audience. It's not going to attract the casual audience. So,
All right.
Yeah, I don't got a problem with it, really. I really don't. It's
Shouldn't have a
just
problem with
strengthening the Impact NJPW relationship.
I just don't think it's a game changer now, and I don't think it was a big deal when they left either. I think it's a good thing, and I think that there should be more of that.
Oh, totally agree. I think it's cool to see Wrestle Kingdom because of the setup and the stage. It's probably one of the coolest looking events that you're going to see outside of a WrestleMania or any type of big show. But Wrestle Kingdom always looks really cool.
True that, man. From the Egg, man, as they call it, like the Egg Dome, the Tokyo Dome, man. One of the biggest venues in Japan and one of the most notable ones for Japanese wrestling. Yep. The Egg. Oh, my goodness gracious. Speaking of Egg, there's a lot of people that had egg on their face because we're going to talk about Dynamite right now. First and foremost, Jesus Christ, Ray Phoenix.
Wow. You know what that reminds me of? I know you guys may have seen it, may have not seen it. It seems like in the NBA playoffs last year when Giannis, his leg basically bent the other direction about 50 degrees, maybe 60 degrees, whatever, and somehow did not break it, did not tear an ACL. That's what this reminds me of. How in the blue... Oh, my gosh, he's taking it. Oh, dude. Anyway, how the hell did Phoenix not break his arm? Like, that's just... I got to ask that. And, Peacock, you do not want to see these images. I'll tell you that much. Anyways, go ahead.
Jesus Christ. All right. First and foremost, that shot, everything that went on there with the Luchasaurus Phoenix, that tag match was Buck Wild. But holy hell, that was a hell of an injury. I don't know what was worse. Oh, well, I'm going to say what's worse. That and Lance Archer landed on his dome piece after that moonsault, man. Those two, oof. So, AEW Dude, what do you think about everything that went down with Ray Phoenix?
I mean, I hope he actually just is okay.
Yeah, with this dislocated, oh my God.
That's what they're kind of saying now, but man, I got the freeze frame and a picture of that, and I'll believe it when he's back in the ring, and I hope he's back in the ring soon, and I wish him all the best, and it's a shame that him and his brother had so many issues getting in the ring, between visa issues and injuries and everything else. They've had a really difficult run. And they deserve better. So just best wishes to Ray Phoenix. And God, that was ugly if you paused on it.
Best wishes to Animal. And speaking of people that were just animals and beasts, my goodness gracious, I know we're bouncing around here with the Kizard, but Malachi Black and Brian Pillman Jr. Whew, Malachi Black showing that dominance. Hurls, what'd you think about Malachi and Pillman Jr.? Hurls?
We lost him. I'll tell you what I think about Malachi.
Wait. Okay. I'm here. I'm sorry. Those images, Jesus. Wow.
What images are you guys referring to anyway? I love
First
to see
and
these
foremost,
images.
first of all, this chat is probably full of a lot of smut and a lot of hut. We're taking it to the hut and the hub at the same time. Go ahead, Hurls.
I think that's why OBS doesn't let us live stream on YouTube anymore. Just saying.
That was
This is
one
exactly.
time. One time.
It only happened one time, just like your butt tile, the Congo Kong.
Oh, Lord.
Anyways.
Oh, shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, Malachi Black getting the win. I enjoyed it, man. That guy's a beast. I honestly hope he is AEW champion sooner than later. Oh yes, yeah. I'm a huge Malachi Black fan, so I loved it. I like Brian Pillman. I have nothing against him. Varsity Blondes, they're good stuff, especially Julia Hart. Yeah, digging that. Have no problems with it.
Okay, perfing out over JH over there. We're gonna go to you now, AEW dude. Oh wait, you already said Malachi Black, Brian Pillman Jr. Brody King. I also got to mention that to you guys. Brody King has just signed there, so it looks like you're gonna get old tag partners there with Brody King and Malachi Black. Have them go get the varsity.
It was just another jobber match. I mean, Brian Pillman Jr. is not ready yet, and that's Goldberg's birthday picture there, folks. And so, he's just not ready yet, but they're, giving him a little bit of TV time here every now and again. And you knew he was just going to get clobbered, and then he did.
Speaking of getting clobbered, Wardlow clobbering another Jay Brown. It's going to set up to MJF and him down the line. I mean, it's the same old thing with Spears getting involved. I think he's going to go through Spears first and then MJF. Do you guys want to comment, even though it was very, very short, Wardlow against the Jay Brown A?
I mean, as long as it sets Wardlow up to be a star, because I really think he's got star potential. We need to hear him more on the mic, right? I think that there's just a lot of potential for him, and I think they need to give it a shot. I always thought Wrath had a lot of potential, and it just never worked out. So now I'm hoping that maybe Wardlow gets that shot.
You know what, though? I just want to say Chronic was a hell of a tag team. I don't know if you liked Chronic or not, but
okay.
Great tag team. And maybe it wasn't destined to be with the heavyweight title at the time, but I think if Chronic, would have played out, maybe the fact that they got over with that tag team may have launched Wrath and Bryan Adams to possibly in the heavyweight title division. Who knows?
And in their WCW run towards the end, they really weren't that bad, but once they got to that Unforgiven 01 match, all hell broke loose.
Yeah, that's another story.
Oh, friggin' Taker just yelling "fuck" in that match. God, if you want to see a disaster, watch that match. The Icy Jacob chants. Oh my goodness gracious! Holy hell! But speaking of holy hell, we have a new TBS champion, as we mentioned. Jade Cargill and Ruby Soho did their thing. It was the right decision. Jade Cargill's been being pushed to the moon. She has the size and the stature, and she is now with the TBS Championship. She's still pretty green, but I think it's only in a matter of time that she's going to be good, and she's going to be a very reputable champion if it doesn't already showcase in her overall work in this match. Because I didn't think this match was too bad at all, as someone who's seen Ruby Soho's career besides WWE and the independent scene. We'll start with you, AEW dude. What you think about Cargill and Ruby Soho? Jade Cargill, the new first TBS champion.
I mean, I took one look at Jade Cargill and went, there's a future star. I love the way this chick carries herself. I love her size. I love her. She's just got a natural charisma. You just want to hate Jade Cargill. She very, very, very much knows, how to handle a promo, how to handle a match. She's just absolutely so natural in so many ways. Unfortunately, one of those ways is not in the ring yet. It just isn't. And I'd really rather see them, build her up to 50-0, okay, doing these squash matches and get her a little bit better in ring. Because now that she's a champion, she's going to have to fight against champions. She's have to wrestle champions. And she's going to have to wrestle higher quality and higher caliber wrestlers that I think can expose her. Because she's not quite there yet. So it's odd because this is the girl I got my eye on. This is the girl I want to see push the moon. But I'm not sure that now's the time, and I say that not out of hate, but out of love for her, because I feel like this is the kind of thing that could expose her and give her a more difficult climb to the top. versus, they didn't do this with Goldberg after 22 matches. He was 100,000,000 before, they finally put him in there with Hogan and said, we're going to give it a shot. He was still green, right? And so I just kind of feel like, I don't want to see her growth stunted, and I feel like this could do it. So obviously wishing her the very best. I mean, I think that she's going to be a massive star. You just take one look at her, and she just reeks of I am a star. I just hope that Tony Khan doesn't blow his wad and try to get her there too soon. Like, this is his first true person that he can grow into a massive star on the roster. Not Darby Allin, okay, but Jade. Not Jungle Boy, who I do think has some potential, but Jade. MJF, true, MJF. And he's doing well with MJF, but MJF doesn't wrestle a whole lot. He's never won a damn title.
I will say this as well. You kind of brought me back to my pop culture feels when you said, you got your eyes on her there, Mr. AEW Dude, because there was a song back in the late 80s by Today, which is Teddy Riley's group, talking about Girl, I Got My Eyes on You. That's what you got when it comes to Jade Cargill. Now I'll move over to you, Mr. Hurls. What'd you think about Jade Cargill getting that TBS championship?
When they decided to bring a mid-card women's championship, this is absolutely probably the best spot to put a title on to Jade Cargill. And I totally agree with you, AEW Dude. She's got the look. She definitely has the look. There's no question. So you just hope her in-ring skills improve over time. And if that keeps happening, she's going to be one of the top stars. And I was totally down on her about 6 months ago when I think she squashed Kiera Hogan or something. And it's just like, I don't know. I wanted to see a little bit more. But yeah, her look, obviously, she's got the look. So as long as she keeps improving, I got really no beef with it. I actually want to see her do more with this TBS title. I want to see her keep this for a while. Just keep her in the mid card. She can keep, winning some big matches, but her time will come if her wrestling skills improve.
Beautifully said. And before we even get to Page and Danielson for the title, round 2 here, CM Punk did have the line of the night, and he stated, if you think the grass is greener over there, go main event night 4 of a buy one, get one extravaganza and get released. Enough said there. You know what I'm saying? Oof. Right to MJF. What did you guys think about that?
Is this referring to the reports that WWE was interested in MJF?
Yes, man. Yes, sir.
Okay. Because, there was an interview with MJF, I think even before he signed with AEW, that WWE was his goal. Mm-hmm. But this is before the whole AEW stuff happened. So I don't know how much he really wants to go to WWE. I think he's got a very, very solid platform with AEW. So I liked how they brought that into the equation. But the guy is signed to AEW till 2024, so that's kind of a long time away. Good promo. I want to see CM Punk do more. I don't want to just see this, hey, I'm back. I'm glad to be here. Let's put on a 10 to 15 minute match, Just do a storyline like Scott Hall, man. He had a lot of credibility too when he came from WWE to WCW. But you know what? They created one of the greatest storylines of all time. So that's what I want to see CM Punk do. I want to see him do something that's different. I don't want to just say, oh, I'm so happy to be here. I love the locker room. This is like one of the greatest places to work. No, dude, do something. I don't care that you came to AEW and you're happy to be here. I want you to be invested into a storyline. Let's get personal. So maybe we're in the route to that. Maybe we're doing something down those lines. We'll see. But that was definitely a solid one-liner for sure.
I was laughing my ass off when you said that because I was going to follow up with Hurls that, yeah, a nice guy Punk is not really setting the world on fire for a lot of people. So AEW Dude, go ahead. What do you think about CM Punk's line to MJF during Dynamite?
He needs to do something. I mean, all he's done is come in and have the CM Punk tour, and it was like,
okay,
I mean, you had to do it the first night, right? They were never going to let anything be said the first night other than him come out and give a promo. I mean, the crowd was just screaming for him. But after that, he's like, I'm so happy. It's the same shit every week. It's like, dude, you're boring as fuck. I'm sorry. You just are. As much as I want to get into you, you're boring as fuck. Yeah, you're good on the mic and you're kind of witty. But you're, dye your beard for fuck's sake. I'm tired of looking at all these gray bearded wrestlers. It's just not becoming. But do something, and maybe MJF's the guy to bring it out. As far as MJF's concerned, he'll do anything to get heat and get popularity, and bringing up WWE and then ragging WWE and making people think that he wants to leave is about the heelish thing that you can do. So that's what he's going to do. It fits his character to a T perfectly. And I think that this is why MJF truly is probably the smartest wrestler in the world today. He gets the business. He stays in kayfabe all the freaking time. And he just, does the right thing. You buy the business, and the business is going to pay him back for it.
Beautifully said, AEW Dude. And that takes us to the main event of the evening. It started off, but it's our main event on our, our review here. Hangman Adam Page, Bryan Danielson. Hangman gets the win. Bloody affair. 2 crimson masks, if you will. And I'll start with you this time, AEW. What'd you think about Hangman retaining and the matchup that we had for round 2 with Hangman Adam Page and Bryan Danielson?
He had the win. The guy needs the win. He's the young star coming up. You talk about your pillars of AEW. They never mention Hangman Page. It's like, I guess it just goes without saying that he's one of the pillars moving forward. Been a fan of Hangman Page since the very first time that I saw him. On the ROH Top Prospect Tournament in the first round. I literally saw his first televised match ever. And I'm like, this kid's got something. Right? And then he went from being the farmer Adam Page to, he wore John Deere stuff, to Hangman Adam Page. Like, oh, that's kind of that's kind of dorky. And then, of course, he's evolved to where he is today. So, I mean, I'm super proud of him, having watched the kid from day one. I think it's phenomenal. He needed the win. There was never a doubt that he was going to actually get the win. Now he is a quote-unquote legitimate champion, and he's and kudos to Danielson for launching this kid's career. I know he was already the world champ, but he launched his kid's career, in that match. He really did. Nothing against Omega, but he's a made man now. It's awesome to watch.
The star is born, and the star is shining bright, going against an American dragon that is Mr. Bryan Danielson. Now I move over to you, Hurls. Hangman Adam Page, Bryan Danielson, bleeding buckets, the pillows, as JR would call them. Not pillars, but the pillows of AEW that he is not. What did you think about Hangman Adam Page retaining in a bloody affair with Bryan Danielson?
This is Bryan Danielson's first loss, correct? Or
yes, it is.
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
It is.
I mean, I do appreciate that. I'm glad that they chose a big event for Adam Page to get a huge title defense over, because I mean they had that 60-minute draw pretty much.
Yes, sir. So, the Broadway.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Adam Page fan. I'll be the first to admit that. I think he's mid-card kind of guy, but I think this was the right. If you're going to put somebody over, that's a good way to do it. So I'm going to be looking forward to Malachi Black coming for that title, hopefully sooner than later. But I think that was you went with Adam Page. Now you got to make him look good. That was one way to do it. So I don't have a problem with that.
Whew. And that, my friends, is your AEW Dynamite review. Now, you know what we're on to right now? We are on to a pay-per-view that is Hard to Kill. Are you guys ready to preview and predict Hard to Kill? I can already see something that is hard to kill with these images.
I feel like we'll find a way to kill it, Larkin. That's sort of our thing.
I know, man, but I'm just saying, man, you're already killing me with these images. I'm already dead. Stop, he's already dead. I feel like the Simpsons up in this bitch. Okay, I do not need to see that rod in her face. So now we get to go to the friggin' Hard to Kill.
You said already dead, man. Wow, that's pretty pretty rough.
I'm just saying it, man. You know what? You feel dead inside, broken inside. Nobody's home. All right, anyway, I digress. Pop culture references aside. So there's 8 matches on the card, 1 match is on the pre-show, and that match is Trey Miguel defending the X Division Championship against Steve Macklin who was formerly in the Forgotten Sons as Steve Cutler in the WWE. He has been booked as a beast in the Boo of one Deonna Purrazzo. Trey Miguel finally getting that rub at the X Division Championship, doing his thing. High-octane aerial assault. So I'll start with Hurls. Trey Miguel, Steve Macklin, X Division title on the line. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this has been a very properly built feud. They've been doing triple threat matches with Steve Macklin and Trey Miguel, and Trey Miguel always pinning the other guy. So finally, Steve Macklin gets his one-on-one chance to beat Trey Miguel. I got to go Steve Macklin for the win. I think it's his time now because Trey Miguel, Impact has always seemed to be pretty high on him. They've always given him title shots when they've been undeserved a lot of times, but they've been definitely, they pushed him pretty well. And I think him winning the X Division title to start was a good move. But I think Steve Macklin, man, that guy's been a beast so far. So I think Steve Macklin takes it here.
I am going to also concur with Hurls and go with Steve Macklin. For me, I've seen his work when he was with Wesley Blake and the former Gunner, Jackson Riker. Oof. And WWE with the Forgotten Sons. The dude's a beast. He's he was in the Army, Marine, doing his thing. He's fought for our country, and thank you for your service, Mr. Steve Macklin. But yeah, it's one of those things where they're building him as this monster. He has a great look, and they're finally showcasing his potential. So I will go with Steve Macklin for the new X Division champion. Trey Miguel, Steve Macklin, AEW Dude.
I've always felt that Trey Miguel was overrated, personally. So I'm going to go with Macklin as well. And Trey Miguel, he won the title back in September, correct? So
yes, he did.
He's had it for about 4 months, and that's about the that's about the lifespan of an X Division champion. It's time to move the belt around a little bit and give somebody else the rub, and I think that Macklin's deserved it. So I'm going to go with Macklin as well on that logic.
So we will start on the card with this match, gentlemen. It is the inaugural Knockouts Ultimate X match, with the winner becoming the #1 contender for the Impact Knockouts Championship. Your participants are Chelsea Green, Jordan Grace, Lady Frost, Rachel Ellering, Rosemary, and Tasha Steeles. I will let Hurl start with this one. Who are you going with?
So this is the very, very first ever Knockouts Ultimate X match. This could go... I really hope they do deliver just like that picture that was just sent. I really do. But I hope they got something up their sleeve. They have a lot of different styles in this match, but what makes those Ultimate X matches so good are the high flyers, right? For the most part. I don't know. Lady Frost is a very solid competitor. Do you really see Jordan Grace climbing up those ropes, though? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I could see Chelsea Green winning this. I really could. I just hope that they can deliver and they come up with some creative spots because they got a lot to live up to. So I'm going to go Chelsea Green in this match. But that's my pick.
That is the most likely one for me. Now, Lady Frost, I know, is relatively new in the Impact scene. I remember seeing her as an enhancement talent for WWE. I believe she wrestled Asuka on one of them, and Asuka knocked the bejesus out of her. Rachel Ellering is a powerhouse, same with Jordan Grace, when she's not deleting her Twitter. Rosemary, Tasha Steeles, Chelsea Green, all tremendous talents. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those ones where we have a first for the Knockouts division being an Ultimate X. So I'm looking forward to seeing what every lady produces, and I am going to go with Chelsea Green as well. I'm going to agree with Mr. Hurls, excuse me, I almost slipped, fraudulent slip. Hurls on this because, well, we're both hot messes. So, AEW Dude, who you going with in this matchup?
Everybody's seen Jordan Disgrace wrestle everybody else. I think it's too soon for Lady Frost. I just don't feel Rachel Ellering. I don't feel Rosemary yet. Although I'd love to say that I want to pick Rosemary, but you guys know that's me picking with my heart and not my head. And I don't feel like Tasha Steeles is there. To me, this one felt like a pretty easy pick at Chelsea to begin with. When you look at it, and I think that she gives a more marketable match right now than some of the other ones do. I'd like to see them build Rosemary back up to where she was, because I really felt like she should have been the face of the division for a very long time, and it really didn't come to to fruition. She did get hurt. You know, they did get that second generation gal whose name I will not mention. But you know, and then they did that. But I don't think it's her time. I think this is Chelsea Green's match to win.
We are all in agreement on that match as well. Now, here's a match that I'm going to go in this direction because there is other two ladies matches on here, but I want to switch it around here, guys. We have a 10-man hardcore war match as Eddie Edwards, Rich Swann, Willie Mack, Return of the Mac, Heath and Rhino versus the Good Brothers and Violent by Design. And I'm going to go with Hurls first on this one because he's got his boy. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about the J to the D, Joe Doring. Joe Doring. Man, who are you picking here?
Do you really even have to ask? I am going Good Brothers and Violent by Design. I think they need a win here just because Heath and Rhino got the comeuppance at the last pay-per-view, which was Bound for Glory. So I'm going to go Eddie Edwards is always tough in these matches because he's always got Kenny. You know, it is a hardcore war. But I'm going to go Good Brothers and Violent by Design because I got to support my dudes in Violent by Design. So,
Earls, I've listened to you do shows with Goldberg. I've never met someone or heard someone have such an infatuation with Joe Doring ever in my life, just for his All Japan work and what he's doing, being a Haas that he is. I'm going to use the word. It's like a Haas. And he just put the emoji up because he's loving it right now. L123LOVE is Hurls for Joe Doring. I, too, will go with the heel team, and I will go with the Good Brothers and Violent by Design because, like Hurls so eloquently said, the comeuppance. Heath and Rhino got their comeuppance last month. We got it in this month. So I'm going to go with the Hardcore Wah, Violent by Design, and the Good Brothers. Please no Tommy Dreamer. AEW Dude, who are you going with?
Fuck you guys, man. You keep taking all my goddamn picks. I go with these guys because I just feel like this is just a match for the heels need to win, right? And I feel like this is a match that the heels will win. And so I just feel like it's a heel winning match. I think, you know, and that's just the way that I feel about it. And I'm not willing to change my pick just because you pricks decided to steal my pick again. I'm going with it. I like the Good Brothers, and it's got Eric Young in it, and I might not care too much about Joe Doring, sorry, Hurls. But you know, it's also really hard to pick against those guys. What?
He was all freaking out because you badmouthed this boy, Joe Doring.
Yeah, I didn't.
Okay.
I did not say a damn thing bad about Joe Doring. All right.
Hey, when Ralphie said the word fudge, he blamed it on Schwartz, and then Schwartz's mother goes, "What? What?" Yeah,
there you go. Okay, sir. I like your style. All right, shoot your eye out there, Mr. Hurls. Good Lord. All right, so the next match we will go to is a women's match. It is a tag team match for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship as the Inspiration, and no, I'm not talking about the Chicago song. I'm talking about Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay take on the team of the Influence, Madison Rayne and Tennille Dashwood with Caleb with a K in their corner. I'm just going to start off right now by saying that I love me some Inspiration. I love me some Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay. Madison Rayne, Tennille Dashwood, cool. Madison Rayne, whatever. I'm going to go with the Inspiration to retain those tag team championships. They are the Inspiration. I want to have you near me. I want to have you say it. No one needs you more than I need you. Ooh, ooh. Go ahead, Hurls.
I am a huge Tennille Dashwood fan. I've been a huge fan for a while. Madison Rayne, I have nothing against her. I think various times throughout her career, she's been very over. I honestly would like to see the the Influence win this one. But something's just telling me the Inspiration is going to retain. I'll go the Inspiration, but I am definitely rooting for the Influence here because I think Caleb Conley has done a great job being in this role. I dare say this is the best role he's been in since he's been a professional wrestler. So that's my opinion.
That's not saying a lot. I'm sick of going last because you fuckers keep kicking my pick. Look, Madison Rayne is like retired, unretired, retired,
It's the flip-flop. It's the flip-flop, AEW. It's the flip-flop.
Her and Mickie James have no business being champions right now, by the way. I'm picking Deonna Purrazzo, okay? I'm going to get my goddamn pick for that match in before you fuckers both pick Deonna Purrazzo.
Wait till we get there, you eager beaver.
I know, well, it's too late because I'm tired of going third. I just feel like Madison Rayne does no business being a champion right now. And I think that they should build the inspiration, maybe get somebody better to feud with. So I'm going with the inspiration just because I like Madison all right. I know she was always my favorite member of that, of the Beautiful People. Well, she was my second favorite member, but that's a different story. But anyway, yeah. So I can't pick her.
Okay, fair enough. All right, now AEW Dude, you're gonna go first now. All right, I'm gonna make you first.
I'm gonna go first. All right, cool. What's the next match?
The next match is the singles match for the Ring of Honor World Championship as Jonathan Gresham defends against Chris Sabin.
For God's sakes! If anybody picks Chris Sabin in this match, you'll only have your heads adjusted. Jonathan Gresham just won the ROH Championship, and he's probably the only person that's actually got a contract that will take him to their next freaking show. So he defends the title, he doesn't lose it. That's just a terrible thing. But here's the thing. Yes. He's going to win this match, and after the match, the lights are going to go dark. Everybody's going to be like, what's going on? This is Tony Khan randomly making matches dark again. And when the lights come to, it's going to be Jordan Disgrace, and she's going to deck him, and she's going to beat him for the championship because she wears the pants in the house, goddammit.
Okay.
So Jonathan Gresham wins this match. Jordan Disgrace walks out with the belt. It goes to the same house, but Jonathan Gresham, he doesn't wear any pants. She does. So, yeah, it's her belt.
All right. Well, I'll hold on before Hurls. Calm down with your laughter and let me get this out first before I start laughing. It's contagious. So Jonathan Gresham for the win, of course. I did enjoy the Final Battle pay-per-view, and I thought him and Jay Lethal had a great match. First of all, if Jordan Grace ever did that, I would laugh my ass off. That you just put a thought in my head, and that is funny. But no, for this one, Jonathan Gresham. And I remember, guys, when this was announced, I'm like, we're having a Ring of Honor World title match on the Impact pay-per-view? Okay. And I mean, it kind of came out of nowhere for me. It's like an RKO. But yeah, Gresham. Just Gresham. Not Chris Sabin, and I like Chris Sabin. I hated his world title run, but I like Chris Sabin. Jonathan Gresham. Hurls?
Well, first off, obviously your favorite member of the Beautiful People AEW Dude was Cute Kip, okay? We all know that.
First of all, I just put my favorite member of the Beautiful People in the chat window, all right?
Yeah.
That was the favorite. That was the favorite. Nobody asked, so I thought that I would just let y'all know.
Well, first of all, I'm just going to say this right now. We do. Beautiful woman.
When she left the Beautiful People. Very upset.
She was terrible. She was a terrible wrestler. It skipped the generation.
Really good to look at, okay?
Okay.
And by the way, she's still alive, so that puts her, unfortunately...
okay, all right. You're going to take it to that level. You're going to take it to that level. Yes.
But now everybody knows who I'm talking about.
Yes. Now everybody knows. We know who we're talking about here. So,
okay. So, yeah, this match
Terry
is just...
was messed up, but he made beautiful babies.
That he did? Okay. Girls!
WCCW. Anyways, yeah, Jonathan Gresham's going to win this showcase match. It did pop out of nowhere. But I kind of like AEW's premonition of Jordan Grace coming out there and winning the ROH title. Why the frick not? So I'm going Jonathan Gresham, though. I think, it's going to be a solid workhorse match. But guess what? There's no storyline. So do I really care? I've never been a huge fan of Ring of Honor to begin with, so not really. No, I don't really care. So, next match.
Okay, I will say this really quickly about Ring of Honor. As someone who was there in 2005 at Sports Plus on Long Island, and then the fact that when I started on this very show, and I told Hurls that Christian Cage wrestled in Ring of Honor when he teamed with Bryan Danielson against when he teamed with, oh my God, Colt Cabana against Christopher Daniels and Bryan Danielson. Hurls, legit had, his lid, because you had no idea that Christian Cage did a couple matches in Ring of Honor at the time. Remember that, Hurls? Hurls?
Yeah. No, there was quite a few. I almost spit out my water, actually, when I saw that come across the screen. Oh, my peacock. Anyways. Anyways,
Aren't you glad we'll
down
go
into your cockles? Anyways, Gold Dust 2003.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, there was a lot of matches that you told me that happened in Ring of Honor that I had no clue about, like Jeff Hardy being there, Raven was there, Christian Cage. So that I learned something that day. So thank you, Mr. Larkin.
That's why I'm here, Hurls. That's why I love you.
Ask
Anyway.
and thou shalt receive, Hurls.
Absolutely. we saw a lot that we received that. Folks, this is why this is not live and the chat window's not live, just because we're a bunch of friggin' pervs. All right, we got the final 3 matches of Hard to Kill. Next match, the walking weapon Josh Alexander against Jonah. Not Jonah Rock, the former Bronson Reed, but just Jonah. He was a good North American champion. I liked him. Oh, I don't think I picked mine for the last. Oh, no, we did Jonathan Gresham. I'm sorry. Josh Alexander Jonah. So, Bronson Reed, big guy for Aussie. You know what I'm saying? Talented. Had that Aussie vibes. You know what I'm saying? He was swole. You know what I'm saying? He was, oh, God, what the hell's the name of the term? He was not swole. He was the big, it was something boy. I forget. Anyway, never mind. Good talent, Bronson Reed. I'm okay with this match. It's Josh Alexander. If I had to pick one, I'm just going to go Josh Alexander. So, yeah, walking weapon. Who you got, Hurls?
I'm going to compare this a little bit to Goldberg versus Bam Bam Bigelow in WCW. Goldberg just recently lost the world title to Kevin Nash. Bam Bam Bigelow comes in there, attacks him. Similar. Alexander loses the title. Jonah comes in there, starts attacking him, looks all beastly for a couple months. I'm going Josh Alexander. I think if the rumors are true that he just re-signed a new contract with Impact, according to TJP's tweet, you're going Josh Alexander here. So, Josh Alexander.
And as I just remembered, as you were saying it, in NXT, as he was Bronson Reed, he was the thick boy, THICC, thick boy. That's what it was. As the very athletic big man, he was the thick boy. Anyway, moving on. Josh Alexander Jonah, AEW Dude.
Oh, I'm going to go against you on this one. I'm going to go with Jonah. He's the new guy. He used a little bit of rub. Josh Alexander's had a lot of big wins. He's a former champion. I don't think that this is a match where either man is going to look bad in defeat. Right, I think they'll still make Josh look decent, but I think you got to give Jonah a rub at some point. This is a match I actually don't care for when I look at it too, because I think that Josh Alexander was really on that main event run, and kind of got pushed down when Moose got the title, and so you kind of like to see him not fall too far, and Jonah being kind of a new guy, right, that they're trying to bring in and develop and whatnot. I don't care for this match, right, because of that. I don't care for this pairing, but I'm thinking that neither one looks terrible. But yeah, I'm going to think that Jonah gets the win here.
All right,
how long is he signed for? Do we know how long his contract is? Because I want to say it's not terribly short term, right?
It's at least to Rebellion is what I've been told, which is April.
So he might not be around longer than Rebellion?
It's possible. Yes, correct.
Then he doesn't win. If he's not, I thought he had actually signed an actual decent contract to stick around for a while. It's going to depend on his contract status. Then I'm going to switch and I'm going to go with you guys, because they're not going to have a guy that's not going to be around beat one of their one of the stars that they're trying to create. I thought he was signed for a longer duration. So
let me throw a curveball though.
Okay.
Josh Alexander's contract was supposedly coming up in February, but then TJP said a tweet out that every time he works with somebody, they get a huge contract. And then he listed Josh Alexander. So I don't know. Josh Alexander may have re-signed. He may have not re-signed. So he could be gone by February. Who knows? And then maybe Jonah's looking better that way.
But Jonah is definitely only through Rebellion. Okay, and then he's not past Rebellion, so he's not going to beat Josh Alexander. It just isn't going to happen.
Alrighty, so now this brings us to our final 2 matches, and the first time I saw this match in TNA, it was in 2007, was Chris Harris and James Storm, and I loved it. It's a Texas Death Match for the Impact Knockouts Championship. Hardcore country! Mickey James defends against Deonna Purrazzo. AEW Dude, go ahead.
Well, gee, I wonder who I'm going to pick.
Yeah, just go ahead, AEW Dude. Okay.
I'm picking Deonna. I mean, look, Mickey James is NWA. She's not the world, the world champion, or shouldn't be the world champion really at any place at this particular juncture anymore, right? And Deonna is the face of the Impact Women's division, and honestly, deservedly so. She's been fantastic, right? So I think that you have to look at it and you have to say to yourself that Deonna goes over, and Mickey goes away, and they put the belt on her Mickey to, I don't know, do something with the NWA for some God only knows what. I don't know why anybody would do anything with the damn NWA, but that's all it was, and it's done. It's time for the younger, better wrestler to win the belt.
I'm going to say Deonna regains, not retains. I look at it from a stance, too. They've had their matches, they've had their feud, and I think this is the one where Deonna finally wins it back, and we get to see the Virtuosa for who she truly is that being the Virtuosa, the head of the Knockouts division, the head of the Knockouts table, if you will. It's a coin of phrase. I got to go Deonna. I got to go Virtuosa, my girl.
No
Deonna.
way. You're agreeing with me for a change.
Yeah. Hey.
Instead of me having to agree with you.
Yeah, see? Flip the script, man. Flip the script.
I know. That's what I was thinking before.
Yeah.
Hurls is too busy fapping off to the last 2 pictures that I sent.
I'm trying to catch up here, but man. Woo!
Mickey or Deonna? That's a death match, Hurls.
First thing first, let's talk about the match itself. Yes, they have a lot to live up to for being the second Texas Death Match ever. Chris Harris, James Storm, man, what a great match that was. Texas Death Match. Go watch that match if you can. It was phenomenal because if you remember the month before, which I was there in person in St. Louis at the Family Arena, the blindfold match that they thought would be a good idea. Yeah, that was terrible. Anyways, they made up for it with the Texas Death Match. Also, I want to do a little plug on my Impact. We interviewed Chris Harris, and he talked about that. Please go back into the HeelCast YouTube page and go find that interview, and you can hear him talk about that match. But anyways, Mickie James and Deonna Purrazzo, they have a lot to live up to, and I think this one will deliver. I'm not so confident about the Ultimate Knockouts match, but I got to go Deonna Purrazzo. I do want to make one correction. Mickie James is actually a freelance right now. We would think she was all NWA, but I guess Billy did want to sign her, and she did not fully commit to NWA, unlike her husband, Nick Aldis.
I mean, she's not wrestling anywhere else. Let's not kid ourselves.
Correct.
I mean, she's not showing up on WWE or AEW television anytime soon. So I'm not. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're representing the NWA brand, right?
Yes.
Is how she showed up, and so she's there because she was with the NWA. And she's, how old is Mickie James?
Holy hell! I got this.
I'm gonna say she's about. I don't think she's as old as we're thinking, but I'm gonna say 40. I'll say 40.
What's your guess?
42.
Yep, 42. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, her time's gone.
I think. Man. Why not? Why couldn't she show up on AEW though? She could challenge Jade Cargill for the TBS Championship. Give more credibility to Jade Cargill too.
I mean,
just saying.
She shouldn't be winning nothing. She's,
Correct. I do think Deonna's going to win here. I love the fact that Deonna's all about technical wrestling, which I'm a huge fan of. She studied the likes of the great Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig and Rick Rude. So I'm going to go Deonna Purrazzo for her three-time Knockouts champion.
Now, gentlemen, we have our main event. Speaking of three, it's a three-way match for the Impact World Championship. Defending champion Moose defends against Matt Cardona and W. Morrissey. Now, for me, I'm going to say right now, I remember seeing Matt Cardona when he was Brett Matthews' team with Brian Myers at the New York Wrestling Connection back on Long Island. Then came out to the Backstreet Boys, It's Gotta Be You off the Millennium album, and they've come a long way from that time to the WWE as the Major Brothers, to Hawkins and Ryder, to what we've seen here. Matt Cardona looking for that first singles heavyweight championship win, baby. The story has been great. The chair shot right to the dome piece, even though she did get her hand up with Chelsea Green. The build has been great there. I kind of feel like W. Morrissey's just here. So, yeah, if I had to pick someone, I'm going to say we're going to continue the chase with Cardona. I will go with Moose. It's all about the Moose. AEW Dude, who you going? Moose, Cardona, or Morrissey?
I never pick against Moose. I can't do it. Like he's you know, if they actually do it right, like he's the best thing that they've got going.
Mm-hmm.
He just is. And they need to recognize it, and they need to deal with it, and that's the end of it, right? Mm-hmm. So no, Moose should win this match, and he should rightfully retain his spot. They need to make this guy their biggest star.
Beautifully said, and I think it's about damn time when he finally won it.
Oh,
I mean,
it's way the hell too late.
Way too late, but still, I was very, very happy to see Moose finally get that world championship that he rightfully deserves.
Marked out, man, marked out. He's another guy, you know. He's just always been there, pushed the company, and been like, hey, you know, like I'm here and I'm doing the right thing. And they finally realized, oh, we should push that guy. Okay? We should push him as opposed to that gal that they tried to put over him.
Oh, hey, we don't talk about that gal.
No, we don't. We don't.
So main event, Hurls, Moose, Morrissey, or Cardona? Where you going?
You know, I mean, Matt Cardona has really won me over. The guy is just a workhorse as far as outside of the business. He's got so many different side projects going. Who can make a podcast talking about wrestling figures and be entertaining nonetheless, and know what he's talking about? Him and Myers got a really good thing going with the Major Figure Wrestling podcast. But you know, I'm a huge fan of Cardona, but he's not going to win this, okay? W. Morrissey, what a great redemption story. The guy is huge. He's close to 7 foot. He's also from New York, I believe, correct?
Yep.
Okay. The guy, I'm really pulling for him. He seems very committed. He seems to turn around get his demons past him, and he's had a pretty solid run so far. And I've liked the work he did with Eddie Edwards, and I'm really digging this match, but it's not his time to win it. Moose has got to keep going full steam ahead. My predictions is Moose is going to get the win, and then I believe a re-debuting Mike Bennett with Maria is going to come out and challenge him, because we all know how good they have worked in the past. They had some of the best matches of at least Mike Bennett's Impact career. I don't know about his ROH stuff, but I can attest to Mike Bennett's best Impact match being against Moose. So I think they got great chemistry, and I think that could be a feud going into Rebellion. That's just my prediction.
Get that old Miracle back, with the hat Miracle. That whole thing. Oh,
I love the Miracle. I don't know if you can do it again, though, but I loved the Miracle.
Yep, me too. It was good. I mean, when he went to WWE and they had that "I'm burning up with your love," I liked that song, but the gimmick was terrible. The Power of Love. The Power of Love. Oh.
He was also in very bad shape, too, when he debuted as well.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel bad for that dude. He's cleaned up his act, though, too, right? He seems to be in a very good place.
Correct. He's good people. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this story or not, but there was, if you Google him and kids, it shows that actually shows as a son. It's not his kid. It's like a friend's kid that he just became a father figure to, and like would spend a lot of time with the kid from the time the kid was a real small infant, because the kid's dad wasn't around or didn't have a dad. I don't remember what the story is, but you don't do that without having a big heart. And so, Mike and I disagree on a lot of things, but man, I just respect him. He's a quality person, and you can disagree with him, and he doesn't care. Like, he's like, okay, we disagree, cool. Not many people are like that these days, and so he's just a guy that I really have a lot of respect for, really do.
And I think that was post recovery for him. He seemed to totally just change his mindset.
This is pre-recovery.
Oh, that's interesting. I knew he was always a Kid Rock fan, which he didn't agree with politically, but there was times that he went after.
I was interacting with him one time, and he's like, look, I know that you were one of the first people that was on my bandwagon back in ROH, and it was like, because he was paying attention. And we just disagreed on some stuff, and it was like, okay, cool, we disagree. And it was like, wow, you can actually do that with somebody. And
that's what you have to do with people now, just agree to disagree, but nobody does that anymore.
No, but what made it really wild was he was a guy that was able to, give his political opinion, but without being political, because he gave his opinion, and then he could understand your side and just not agree with it. But He just didn't act like an ass. And so it's really hard not to have a lot of respect and root for that person, because they're few and far between. And it's a shame that he has pill issues, or he had pill issues, but a lot of them do, because there's a lot of pain involved in being a professional wrestler. So I'm glad he's gotten past his demons. I think Maria is a very high quality gal herself. I think that it's wonderful that they have a family and have a way to support themselves, and they're just people you root for, man. That's what it should be about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no, Mike's a guy that I can get behind. I'd love to see him back. I love the Miracle gimmick. I just don't know if it's going to work again in 2021 or 2022 after everything he's been through. But you know what? We'll give it a shot.
And that, my friends, is Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill, which you guys can check out on Saturday, 8 p.m. Check it out, Hard to Kill, Impact Wrestling. Here we go. And here we go with the final segment of the show. It is Hurls Hot Corner. Hurls, what are we going to be talking about tonight?
Okay, well, something came across my Twitter feed. It's a guy you know very well, AEW Dude, Talon. He wrote on Twitter that this was the 5-year anniversary of Anthem purchasing the company from Dixie Carter, Impact Wrestling. So it got me thinking, let's give a grade to what you think Anthem has done. So, there's a lot to this. So that's Hurl's Hot Corner question. Give a grade for Anthem's first 5 years.
I'll go first. B. Because we did get a lot of great stars in that. So, I mean, there's a lot of decency there. Obviously, there were some problems and stuff, but I give it a B because we got a lot of the great stars that we have now. Go ahead, AEW Dude.
First of all, obviously, shout out to Talon. He's one of the best people in the IWC. He's done more for Impact Wrestling, as a fan than anybody has, and he doesn't get or take credit for it. Just an incredible person. I think it depends. On one hand, if you look at the company under Anthem, it's done nothing but shrink, and it's lost momentum, a lot of momentum, and they've done some dumb things like TB, but they've tried some stuff too, right? But at the same point, what's the grading scale on? Because the company's still around. The company's still around, and it's more stable than it was when they got it. And they have stabilized it. And they have put one regime in it. Yeah, I know Don's gone, but Scott's still there. Ed's still there. This is the most stable the company's ever been. So it kind of gets an A. So it's somewhere between an A and an E, depending on what your grading scale is. And I think that Impact fans, if you're an Impact fan today, then you've been through the highs, you've been through the lows, and you appreciate the stability.
Yeah, I got to thinking, do I like, through the 5 years, we've gotten some really good stuff, and we got some really bad stuff. The one that shall not be named, we are not going to name her on this show anymore. It's wiped out from the memory banks. That's the stuff that I wasn't, she was a super talented wrestler. I'm not going to deny that from her. That's one of the decisions that I thought was a little baffling. But like I said, they've partnered, they've repaired any broken relationship that they've ever had in the past. I do dig that.
That's huge, by the way. That's huge. Really ROH and New Japan will talk to them again.
Yes, exactly. They've had struggles when they went to Pursuit Channel, but they had another plan to buy Access TV. Now, Access is not a huge channel by any means, but they have security in that. They get their own advertising. So that's a huge plus. And what I do like what they did is they're actually investing at least some they're investing into the product. If I'm comparing it to Ring of Honor and how Sinclair deals with Ring of Honor, and that's a whole different, story, and we could go on hours for that. But I do like what they did in that terms, and I do like the fact that they've gotten out of the Impact Zone, even though they did have free production there, but they're actually they're generating money from ticket sales So I like the fact that they did take Impact back on the road, and it seems like in 2022 they're really going to go full force with that approach. And I think they were kind of going towards that before the coronavirus hit. But they got a lot to work on though. They are still trying to appeal to a niche market, and I think we got to attract some casual fans at times. Okay, we don't always need match after match after match after match. That's not a formula that I like. I like storylines, so I need more of that as well. And they have done some stuff like that, but I feel like they just don't follow up with it a lot, and they fall back into just having match after match after match after match. But anyways, I hope they can do more merchandising deals, and I hope that they can keep growing the company. I would like to see that, and I think they've done a pretty solid job. But if I'm going to grade it in terms of everything, I'm going to go between a C+ and a B-.
That's fair. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely fair. Like I said, I'm in the realm of more B-. I think you're B-, C+. And I mean, AEW Dude, I mean, we're all kind of on the same. I mean, I would give it an A like you said because the company's still in business and we're still afloat. And I mean, it's been 20 years now. This year will be the 20-year anniversary that Impact has been into fruition. So, I mean, that is a plus. And I got to say what is a plus before we close this out. It's a plus that I'm back on the HeelCast because this has been way too long. And I think it's always a pleasure and a privilege just to hang out and talk some wrestling with your buddies and talk everything, the landscape of professional wrestling. And since Hurls did a plug about him and Chris Harris, the Wildcat, I will say this, guys. Go to LaundryFC.com and see your boy, because I haven't got a chance to plug this on this show. Ring announce for LFC 35 Booty Camp 3D in my mobster-like suit-esque, man, at the FSW Arena where Future Stars Wrestling is held. LaundryFC.com. Boys, me getting into the ring announcing thing, man, I really appreciate your guys' support on that, too, as well.
That was awesome, man. That was so cool, dude. That was just so awesome to watch. You killed it. You nailed it.
Thank you.
That was just awesome stuff, Lark. And that's just, it's great to see great things happen to great people, and you're a great person. So seeing great things happen to you is just the kind of thing that just makes your day.
That truly means a lot, guys. I truly do appreciate that. And what also makes my day is, guys, go on to the HeelCast YouTube, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the HeelCast on Twitter, I believe _HeelCast on the Twitter machine, the evil Twitter machine, as that bully Ray, hey, says in his little rhymes there, the Twitter. It's the New York thing. You guys can check me out, SM Show 1, MCL92, StephenMikeShow.com, go to LaundryFC.com, and check out my YouTube, because coming next week is going to be an interview with Trinity, as she talks about, gentlemen, the 17-year anniversary of her match with Jacqueline at Victory Road 2004, the year where Impact started with their 3-hour pay-per-views. And I can't believe this. Trinity just had a birthday, and I'm going to say, guys, she just turned 50, and she looks amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Larkin, I might need to contact you after the show about a possible My Impact episode with her. Definitely need to get her on.
Absolutely. So just want to just plug right in, you know what I'm saying?
You should just reach out to her on social media there, Hurls.
Yeah.
Show her your nails.
Yeah, just
That's
show her
what Larkin does. He's big into nails.
Oh, God. I'll rub nails, I'll scratch, and I'll claw, and I'll make Carol Baskin look like fucking amateur hour. Anyway, I digress.
One could say your heart is nails there, Larkin.
Be quiet, Earls. For Earls, for AEW Dude, my name is Mike Larkin, and guys, this is another edition of the HeelCast. We'll talk to you in the next episode. Good night, everybody.
See ya!